just can't let you.
Hello and welcome to the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Championship Season 4 of this superb championship. And we are live on ApexRacingTV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me this evening is Marco Barbier. And Marco, we really enjoyed this series. We are delighted to be back once again at this Donington Park circuit. And I think we're in for another terrific championship.
We absolutely are. Hello everyone, hello Sam, and hello to all the viewers around the world. I think we are in for a fantastic night of racing, and what a joy to have this championship back. Like you were saying, we are in beautiful Donington Park on the international racing circuit, so the one with the extra bit at the end. We had fantastic action in the MX-5s the last couple of days around here, and I'm expecting more of the same, even more I might add, because we have a very big entry list, 45 cars signed up for this race. So I mean, cannot wait to get the action started. We are in the towards the back end of the practice session, so we can use these moments that we have before the start of the race to go through some of the changes, some of the new faces, some of the old faces in new places, and all that kind of stuff. The schedule, of course, the classes is going to be a very exciting night of racing, Sam. And I think that it's the first step of 12 that will bring us to crowning the season 4 champions come the end of the season.
Yes, absolutely. I think possibly the right place to start in terms of the rule change, partly because one of the rule changes I'm absolutely certain of is the fact that we're going to have a kind of dynamic balance of performance as the season goes on. So all these drivers, there's not really a bad car. If there is a slightly slower car, well, the other cars will get a little bit more weight added to it, and that really should even out the playing field. I think so far, at least from what I've seen, Marco, we've seen fantastic variety of the cars out on circuit, and it really is good that you can very much go for whichever car suits your driving style, whichever car you particularly enjoy, without having to worry about kind of how fast it is.
I mean, this is a great step that I think the organizers took. I had the pleasure to talk to Ian in the off season, in the very short off season, if I'm not mistaken, 3 weeks between the end of last season and this race here. And of course, he agreed with me when I said that this is a very ambitious project. But he seemed very he knew about this, but I really appreciated his determination, and I can only appreciate the courage of having done something like this, and hopefully it will provide for more variety on the starting grid. I think it already has. Let's see. I saw a Ford around the track earlier. Yes, a Ford GT3, not a GT, a Rogue GT, jumping into the wrong server. We see a lot of Audis, which were basically non-existent last season. A bit less Beamers this time around. Some drivers decided to stuck with the BMW, and some more Ferraris, which are always nice. And I cannot wait to show you the Ford as soon as the very brave Ford driver, which is Marcel van der Linden for Atomic Atomic Motorsports. I'm sorry, goes back on the racetrack.
Yeah, of course, one of the unique things about this series as well is the fact that we've got different classes, not just a pro and an amateur, but we also have 3 classes. We almost had 4 in the end, but I think these 3 classes work very well. It does give everyone an opportunity, and the thing is that everyone has a chance of winning their own respective championship, and it gets super competitive as the season progresses. And it's awesome that everyone can kind of have that championship narrative really to follow up there. Martin van Loosenor currently the fastest driver in practice. Of course, this is just practice. A few drivers might be holding back a bit, but certainly in terms of the in terms of the classes market, it's great that everyone kind of has something to fight for. And well, not only will these drivers be thinking about their overall position, but also their position within the category that they're racing.
Absolutely. You know, this basically gives us another, no, basically we have basically 3 races in one. It's like multi-class racing, but with all GT3s, and it's brilliant. Last season we saw, you know, these are 1 hour long races, so they are very long. But still, the excitement all over the field was absolutely magnificent because you had the battle for the overall race lead, you had the battle for you know, the gold, the silver, the bronze, and of course each class has its own mini race, being that the winner always get in the class always gets X points for the win in his class, the second gets second, etc. No matter where they are on the field, so there are points to be you know, to be gained and lost, no matter where you are in the field, and of course the very important overall standings that are certainly, you know, the bigger prize at the end of the season. But you are right, everyone has a chance to win, and I'm delighted to have to see 45 more or less. No, we have a couple of drivers who are going to be stewards, so in total we should have, I think, 42, 43 drivers. This series is really growing and growing with each passing season, and I am absolutely delighted by this because it really deserves all these, you know, exposure and numbers, because the racing is brilliant.
Yes, absolutely, and hopefully we'll do it justice on Apex Racing TV as the season goes on. Of course, if you want to, keep up with all these events, certainly do subscribe to the channel or like our Facebook page, or even also follow our Twitch channel as well. Certainly do recommend, and also leave a like for this video as well. We'd super appreciate it. The drivers just got a few more minutes of practice. I have got the sheet open, which has all the changes on, which, well, is very welcome for me, and does jog my memory slightly. But one of the other changes, which we're going to see absolutely prominently for every single race so far this season, Marco, is the fact that the fuel load limit has been reduced to 70%, from 80% to 70%. And certainly I'm a big fan of this. I kind of do quite like lights to flag races because it means that you have to get the moves done on circuit. And whilst this isn't a lights to flag race still, it means that I think you can't just come in after 15 minutes and then undercut your opponent by half an hour and end up ahead and not really have to do those great laps. The fact that I think now the undercut is going to become far less kind of wide, the strategy is going to become a little bit more strict. I think that's really going to exploit the on-track overtaking. Drivers are going to have to really get it done on circuit rather than just getting it done during the pits, which I think at times we saw last season, arguably by Ifang Necton, who just seemed to have so much confidence. He'd come in early into the pits and know that he'd be able to get ahead of those drivers once they made their pit stops later on.
Absolutely, that this was one of the changes made in order to, you know, improve the racing, which was already very nice. But the pit strategies were a bit dull and predictable, so this change, of course, will be monitored by the organizers in these first few races of the season. I think it's a step in the right direction. It will be interesting, of course, because Donington Park, as you know, it's not a track where overtaking is necessarily very easy. There are not many passing opportunities, and I think that one of the best is here at the chicane. But with the fact that we are using the longer track, the other chicane, the national chicane, is much better for overtaking. So uh, maybe here at the airpin, but you need to get a good run from the chicane itself, or maybe you can go for a lunge in this very tricky final corner. Um, so these drivers will have their work cut out for them because they will have to make moves on a track that is usually very tough on overtakes. So of course qualifying will be important, and as per usual, staying out of trouble will be important because you don't want to get involved in in drama at the beginning of the first race of the season.
Absolutely not. And this Donington Park certainly a unique circuit, certainly not a circuit that necessarily is visited most of all on iRacing. And I think once again that the organizer got a good balance of the circuits out this season. Marco, just loading up the schedule. I did have a look at it earlier on, and very much kind of middle-ish circuits. They're not all. It's not just Spa, Nürburgring, Road America, kind of those massive circuits which are constantly we constantly visit. I think it's got a little bit more variety in that, such as, of course, Donington, Laguna Seca as well, Interlagos, um, Bathurst, and also Brands Hatch as well, and Mospot and Zolder as well. So it's a good, mixture of kind of these big proper raceways and also the club circuits as well, which certainly is the best form of racing in these GT3 cars as the drivers come out for qualifying. And another change to the series is that qualifying has been reduced in length. It used to be 15 minutes, that's now only 10 minutes, which really does ramp up the pressure for the drivers. You can see they're trying to get out straight away. 45 cars on a relatively short circuit like this, and it's inevitable, Marco. We're going to see a couple of drivers not being able to set an eligible lap time, especially around a difficult circuit like this where off tracks are relatively easy to pick up. So, of course, you desperately don't want to do it. As a top 10 driver, if you don't get a bank lap in, you could be starting some 30 places lower than you ought to be.
Yes, and Donington is a track where it's really easy to pick up off tracks, like all British race tracks. There is no shortage of grass around the racing surface, and this means more often than not that you can pick up an off track quite easily. So you see, for example, Marvin Hamans already out. Is the first. He was the first driver to come out of the pits. So let's get a quick lap on board with him.
Yes, just approaching this turn one, a quick right-hander. Gotta be careful trying to use all the space on the pit exit as possible. This way you can pick up a 1x, but quite neat and tidy there by Julian Amance. And then just downhill, such a fantastic section of corners this. Just lifting off, trying to keep his car right to the left as possible, just to really open up this next corner, which does open out on the exit. Now, flat out here, there's barely any straights around this Donington Park. Even the flat out sections are just kinked one way and the other, and then just carrying the speed still. Now, this next one is so easy to pick up a slowdown on the inside. You can't take too much of this inside curve despite it being very flat. And so far, this is a decent lap by Amansis, just keeping it within the confines of the circuit. Next up, the chicane, another easy place to pick up a slowdown. Want to attack the curbs as much as possible. Don't hit those bollards too hard. And really does straight line that one nicely. Now a super wide exit for this penultimate corner. Very unique, almost two 90-degree corners you can see on the apex there. And just straightening it out for the exit. Now this final corner, almost blind. You can see it's over a crest. Just a slightly unique entry there. And it's another pretty wide hairpin, nailing the exit. And, well, this won't be a bad opening lap. It won't be pole position, I think, but it's a solid banker lap for Amance.
Exactly. Matthias De Tige, it was the car behind him, immediately gets a quicker lap, as now EF Van Genechten gets first. Of course, EF Van Genechten wasn't the quickest driver in qualifying last season, then he made up for it with his fantastic race pace, and he is already happy with his first attempt. On the bottom of the screen you can follow the drivers as they come and go on the track. It's going to be very hectic, as you can imagine, also just by looking at the track map there. It's absolutely crazy, the amount of cars on track right now. Let's see if we can get a shot from the blimp. You can see there's not a lot of real estate for these drivers, as they are trying to find a little bit of space. You can see already someone making contact, and that is not only for the drivers involved, Sam, but also for the guys that are following. They might have to lift, have to lose concentration during their lap, and miss a good opportunity at getting a fast lap time. As if Van Genekten will go again. Let's see Matthias de Tige. He was in 4th, and he jumps up to 3rd place, 24.6.
Yep, nice lap there for the Sim Racers World Pro 1 team. So I guess they've got multiple teams. I'm not sure how many drivers actually form a team in this series, but well, I'll do some digging around to see what it is, because there are plenty of Sim Racers World drivers out there, as you would expect. As a few Atomic Motorsports drivers as well. I think Nexon actually being picked to pole position suddenly. Martin van Loosenord now top. This is just an outlap for Van Genekten. He went wide at turn 1, I think we saw a few minutes ago. Had to escape back to the pits, which these drivers can do very happily. And now we'll start his next lap time. He's got to be so careful. Those are a bit like Monaco qualifying is really the only thing that I can compare it to in the in the case of just so difficult to find your own space. These drivers are going to be backing up at the end of the circuit potentially as well. You can see Van Genekten compared to the lap we saw earlier on, just that bit more commitment, a little bit too much commitment though. Picking up a 1x, obviously losing a lot of time as well. And he's running out of time in this session, only 4 minutes to go. These drivers will be able to complete the lap that they start though when the checkered flag comes out. It's not like official series where once the checkered flag comes out, it's all over. If they start the lap when the before the checkered flag comes out, they can finish that lap. Bod Bowden with a little bit of free space. He's driving for Meraki Racing AMG, which I'm not familiar with, but hopefully he'll be representing that team very well so far this season. And well, just running a little bit wide there. Will be interesting to see if he goes for another lap.
Well, if you look at the back of his car there, it really looks a lot like the last season's livery, but with different colors. I remember it was a Brown GP-like white, black, and fluo yellow, and now it's a very nice shade of light blue and black. But I think it's the same team with a different name, and a very nice livery to boot. So, Van Loosenord gets pole position. Now, for those of you who were following the ARL Formula Renault 3.5 Championship last season, Martin Van Loosenord is a familiar name, especially because he was the dominator of the series, and seems like his jump to GT3 machinery hasn't impacted his ability by much. He is absolutely flying in this qualifying session, gets pole position, and right now I think he's on course to have an even better lap.
Yes, we have nothing against Van Genekten. I think whenever we've talked to him, he's a very nice man, but we want some competition. Last season, 11 out of the 12 races went his way. Only a crash at Bathurst stopped him from a clean sweep. So hopefully Martin van Loosenord will take the challenge. And if anyone is going to take the challenge, it's certainly going to be him. I believe also we've covered him in the ILMS series as well. I believe he drove in the LMP once and actually has done very well in that championship. So he is a quality driver, is Martin van Loosenord.
Look at this.
We'll see him.
Look at this fantastic Ford.
Fantastic. Well,
I'm
well
so
done,
happy.
Marcel van der Linden, a driver from last season, I believe, as well. And he's taken the plunge, and what a deep plunge that is. Because, sporting the Ford, not a car we see so much on iRacing anymore. But, well, this is not a bad lap at the moment. And hopefully he'll, I wonder if he'll sandbag a little bit as the season goes on to get the BOP in his favour. But no, he's certainly doing a good job at the moment. Great sound of that car.
I jumped on board because I don't think I've ever had the pleasure. Oh, don't. This is an old car. You'd better not destroy it. I don't think I've ever had the pleasure to broadcast a race with a Ford GT3 in it. I don't know how happy the organizers were when they knew that the Ford was racing, which means another car to make the BOP4. Is that a McLaren?
Yeah, he's been following that McLaren for the, pretty much the whole lap. So we're getting all shapes and size. I think there's 2 McLarens signed up. This is Kobe Plays, is it? No, it's
Luke
Luke
Tice.
Thies, sorry. Well, I'll look on the entry list, see if there's anyone else actually who's signed up under that car. So you got Luke Thies.
Here comes, oh no, but Boland was trying to improve. Will he have another chance? He needs to cross the start-finish line very soon. I think he will have another chance as the checkered flag is dropping right now. So last chance for all these drivers. Ruben van Buer says I've had enough. So he will not improve on his time. We have Gregory Ranks right now on camera in his Audi as he tries to improve on his time as well. Also, I think if Van Genechten wasn't able to improve on his time, we'll keep an eye on Bot Boland for the time being. As soon as Gregory Ranks gets on the start-finish line, which he does right now, up to 6th place. Let's see, also Matthias de Tige is got his personal best in Sector 3 and Sector 4. Sorry, in Sector 3. Now we will see if he gets another personal best Sector 4. He has had enough as well. So Bot Boland really pushing super hard, a lot of traffic, and he says, nope, that's not going to cut it. So almost all of the drivers have completed a lap. Chris Moretta improves on his time, 25.3, will start in 15th. Unless Andrew Opley can jump him, no, 25.5. So very, very close field altogether, I'd say.
Absolutely. By the way, the other McLaren Joe is Stuart Musselwhite.
Ooh,
So
okay.
unfortunately, he isn't around today. Is Stuart? Hopefully, we'll see him around for the other race. It would be great to see some more McLarens on the grid. And also, Luke Thies. You were talking about how close the field was. Well, I'm going to pin this on the car, but Luke is currently 2 seconds slower than the next first car, which maybe implies that the Ford isn't quite up to scratch, and maybe the BOP needs a little bit of adjusting in his favour. But certainly we'll be hoping, wishing him luck from 41st on the grid. We can go through the grid now, and it is Martin van Loosenholt on pole position. He's pipped Ifanganex on what a duel those two are going to have. Can Matthias de Tige get involved on the second row of the grid alongside Steve Clays? Bod Bowden starts in on the third row of the grid alongside Gregory Ranks. And there's Ruben Van Buell, Lewis Ward, Marvin Julian Amance, and Ewan Marshall rounding out the top 10. And then behind that, it's Nick Sherman's, Marcel van der Linden, Tom Metherell, Dion Phillips, Chris Moretta, Ben Taines, Sebastian Herbuer, Andrew Hopley, Chris Miles, David Fuller, rounding out the top 20. And then behind that, it's a big old grid this. I'm only halfway through. Lee Deemer, Benjamin Mears, Roy Verke, Ian Roots, Ronald Moons, Stephen DeWolf, Ben Lewinen, Thijs van der Berg, Kevin Boland, Robbie Carender rounding out the top 30. And then behind that is Jules Amuldi, Jean McConville, Scott Malcolm, Jeremy Hessels, Stuart Muswhite is on the grid. Apologies, Stuart. So another McLaren on the grid. Then it's James Hobden, Craig Jones, Jochen Lenartz, Stephen Castrop, Lee Woodburn, rounding out the top 40, and then rounding out the field is Luke Thies, Peter Grouse, Bart Daleman, Anton Dupin, and hopefully Tyler Vickery, our co-commentator, will be taking to the grid. Unfortunately, had some personal issues, which just prevented him getting into the session. But well, hopefully he'll be around for this one.
Very short pace lap. I was expecting to have the entire lap, but no, apparently not. So we are rolling, and this is going to be a 1 hour race, like I said. Lots of expectations, if you ask me. I think we are in for a cracker of a race. Look at the
Yeah, should be
variety.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Even though the
a
Audis
great, well, a
are,
lot of Audis, yeah.
which were
Well,
nowhere
such a
last season. So,
yeah.
but it's
There was like
like I
two
said,
Audis on the grid last
yeah,
season.
a dynamic BOP like a BOP should be. So who knows if this is going to, be the way it will go for the entire season. One more corner left, Sam, and then we are ready to go.
Yep, season 4 of the Simracersworld GT Championship is about to get underway, and away we go at Donington. Good start for Van Loosenau. He should be able to hold the lead down into turn 1. Seems to have sorted out the majority of the field through that final corner, but we could see issues going into turn 1. The top two almost coming into one another. Sorts of sorting each other into single file currently, but now double file, in fact. Down the hill they go. The top two really pulling away. We've got side by side between Boland and Datij. Great start for Boland up into the top 3 already. Lewis Wallace got a little bit of a poor start down into 11th place. Andrew Hopley is up a couple of places into 16th. But apart from that, not too many changes. Hobden up 6 positions from what I can see. It's a good start for him. And, well, a good start for the majority of the field, seeming as we've got a couple of cars off in the background. So, is that Sebastian Herbuer in the Ferrari having an off?
Yes, and he's going back onto the race line. I think he was involved with another car, but I couldn't make out that particular car as we're about to finish the first lap, and we have Van Loosenord and Van Genechten first and second, with Bob Boland in third, and Martin Van Loosenord, of course, trying immediately to put some pressure. Sorry, Van Genechten trying to put immediately some pressure on the race leader. Bob Boland, like I said, following very, very closely. So we have 3 different teams in the first 3 spots, and the first lap is already in the books.
Yep, and you can see they're still pretty much in a train of cars currently. Not too many breakaways. It looked as though Van Loosenord and Van Genechten were getting away, but that great start for Boland from 5th to 3rd position. You might keep those top 2 honest as the race progresses. Stephen De Wolf already up 3 positions, so not a bad start for him. He's trying to get past Lee Diemer right now. The battle pretty near the front of the silver class. I believe this is for 4th and 5th in silver class. Down the inside goes De Wolf. Really trying to exploit the advantages of that BMW. Very good on the brakes. Now he's under pressure, in fact, from Ronald Munzer. Another silver driver. Can maybe catch his rival unawares here, but taking a tight line there's De Wolf. Not quite hooking up to the apex for Moons, and will have to stay behind at this part of the circuit. But that kind of shows if you go for a move and you can't pull it off, Marco, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to the car behind over the next few corners.
Exactly, that is exactly the problem. So you have to think about risk versus reward every time you go for a move. Meanwhile, Sebastian Eberhard went into the pits. There I say we shall try and see what happened to him.
Who was that?
Sebastian Eberhard,
yes.
Yeah. Here we go. So he's the orange car, you see. Oh, he lost it on his own, went into the grass, and then collected the BMW there. Trying to... Bentains, yes. So bad luck for Bentains. Wrong place at the wrong time for him. And Sebastian Eberhard is in the pits. Scott Malcolm hasn't taken the start. Guy who took the start is Tyler Vickery, and here he is with his McLaren, by the way. Oh, the 2 McLarens. Look
3
at that.
McLarens. Yeah, rare that you see 2 of them go side by side. A little bit deep on the brakes there for Vickery. He scrambles it all up. And yeah, puts it into... I'm not sure what position that is, to be honest. I'm sure
39.
you can see on your 39th. There you go for car number 24. Now it's separating a little bit the the front of the field. Van Leeuwenhoek and Van Dikten still relatively close to one another. Clay's dropping back though, and you can see he's got quite a queue of cars behind him. Well, I'm going to use this pun again, but it's the Clay's carriages, and I realise I ought to kind of get some new jokes, seeing that I actually used that on the last round of last season. That's how old that one is. But Clay's getting a little bit of respite now because Ranks has just made a mistake under pressure from Van Buell, Ruben, that is. And such a fantastic queue of cars currently. And it's all about just catching your opponent a little bit unawares, maybe just maybe breaking a little bit too carefully, and maybe you can surprise your opponent. You and Marshall just ahead of Amance, who are riding on board with right now, up 2 positions from his start. He's certainly a man on the move, but well, it's ever so close.
Look, ties with an issue, bouncing very hard. The McLaren is prone to this kind of behavior, sadly. When you bounce a bit too hard, it tends to, you know, lose its traction. So 40th place for him, a very lonely 40th place at that. Let's go back to this fantastic fight for P6.
Yeah, it's difficult to call right now. All of these are gold drivers, apologies, all the way back to Nick Sherman's, the next silver driver. Currently, the silver leader is Steve Clay's up in 5th place overall. And the leader in the bronze category is David Fuller, doing very well in 19th overall. So great drive so far from Fuller. Absolutely great shot for the season, mate. Take a screenshot of that. And does really promote the series absolutely superbly. Does really show what this series is about. Of course, we will have pit stops later on, but with the reduced fuel tanks in this car for this season, means that they don't quite have the variety. They can't come in on lap 15 or so, or say about 15 minutes into the race and just get the mega undercut. They've got to get these moves done on circuit. And also keep an eye on their instant points as well, because if these drivers pick up too many instant points, they'll get some penalty points. And, well, if they have a completely clean race, they'll get some bonus points as well.
Nice fight here. This is basically the tail end of the silver class, and the leader of the bronze cars is actually David Fuller. You can see him here, and he's very high on the list in P19 and in front of several drivers of the silver classes. We have some great battling here as well. We have battling all over the field. This is for 11th place. Schurman, Phillips, we have van der Linden and Metherall, as they are all fighting it out as they go into the chicane. Oh no! The contact.
Van der Linden round.
Oh, and some
I think
drama.
he's collected a couple of other cars as well. That's Metherwell going round. He hasn't got too much damage. Seemingly, he's going to lose so many positions at this early point in the race. And maybe Fuller picking up a little bit of damage as well. Ben Mears up 6 places now from his start, but he's going to have to go side by side with Fuller, the bronze leader. And Fuller just about hangs on, and now Mears falling back behind Reeds.
Chaos all over the place. I think that contact there created a little bit of drama all over the field. The drivers will try to sort themselves out. The Ford seems to be in decent shape. I don't know about, well, looking... No, Tom Metherall had to go to the pits, so some significant damage, unfortunately, on his car.
It was never really going to work, that move, was it? Too wide into the chicane. And, well, I'm pretty sure that chicane was originally designed to actually thin out the cars for safety reasons. And, well, going side by side was probably not the smartest thing. But they do seem to have got away without too much damage. They'll be able to carry on, won't have to make an extra pit stop. And, well, that's very good. Yeah, separated a little bit up the road. That big battle for P5 has calmed down a little bit. This is now the biggest train on circuit. This is the part of the circuit where you can kind of go for a little bit of a surprise move, because the braking point is the braking zone, sorry, is so large into this chicane, as Van der Linden finds out, braking much later than his rival, but he does gain a few meters. We'll be looking to get a move done in the next few corners. Still staying the same out in front. Van Loosenord leading the way at this point. He's about 2 seconds clear of Ifanganexton. We pretty much didn't see this last season, and when I say that, Ifanganexton just wasn't being beaten. Certainly when it came to pace. But Martin Van Loosenord, an established driver, coming into the series and doing a terrific job. The two of them on that last lap were identical to the 100th of a second. So Van Connector not giving up on this one. We'll see if he can pull a masterstroke with strategy later on. Boland still running in third place, consolidating that third place ahead of the Tej. And then it's Clay's the leading silver driver. Still coming under pressure from Gregory Rankslate. But I'd say so far, Marco, we've seen overtaking quite difficult despite these streams of cars. Overtaking is a rarity as we see Lewis Ward now going down the inside of Ewan Marshall, wide turning for that hairpin, and he gets the move done. One Audi eclipses the other. Lewis Ward back up into 9th place.
Yes, and in the background of the 9th move, we saw Dion Phillips for Excite Racing going around at the chicane. Just a little bit of, spin, many positions lost, but no damage to his car. He lives to fight another day.
Van der Linden trying to make his way back up. He's in 19th position at the moment. Looks to the inside of Roy Viverke. Viverke gives him space. And there's really not too much he can do because on the exit of that corner, because you're straight into that sweeping section down the hill. Ranks now ahead of Clay's.
Yeah,
so
nice move,
Clay's being
nice
pick
move.
up a slowdown.
Let's watch it again. Down the hill. He's a very, very tricky right-hander here. It's easy to go wide. We saw that on Monday night with the MX-5s. He didn't go wide, but he had a little bit of a moment, and that's what caused him to lose the position. Sam, I don't know about you, but one of the things I love the most about GT3 racing is the different engine notes that you can hear throughout the field. And I know that it has not a lot of fans, but I absolutely love the Mercedes sound. Now, of course, there are a lot less than last season, and also the Audi sound is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And very, very close to the sound that the cars make in real life. Especially the Audi has a very, very distinctive sound in real life.
Yes, of course. You visited the 2016 Spa 24 Hours?
Exactly, where
Yes,
most of these cars were
okay.
there, not all of them. The BMW had the M6 running around, and the McLaren had the 670, not the one that there is now, the one previous, the one behind the MP412C. One of those, a Garage 59 car, was destroyed in a crash at the end of the race, and it was sitting there at the bus stop near the fence, so I had a chance to get really, really close to it. We had one of those classical, prototypical Spa showers in the middle of nowhere with 30 minutes left to the end of the race, and the track became a swimming pool all of a sudden. And so many, many cars were caught out at the chicane, and we were sitting there waiting for the end of the race, and so we had a nice sit to that crazy moment as Ruben Van Buell gets past Steve Clays. And of course, Steve Clays is fighting for the overall race, but of course, I think his main priority is the silver race, where he's still the leader, and Nick Schurmans is in second, and you can see he's here. Let's see the gap between the two of them. It is 3.3 seconds, and you can see the leaders with Ben Muse in third of his class.
Yeah, Clay's being shuffled down the order a little bit, costing him a bit of time. That last lap he set a 27.3. That's 2 seconds slower than the race leader. 1 second slower than many of the drivers around him. And that's just him being overtaken. That's not him being slow, because he's certainly earned that position where he's high up. So we'll be interested to see if Sherman's can maybe come back at Clay's later on, as Clay's maybe drops a couple more positions. Now, back with Van der Linden, he's still trying to make up some positions. Next up is Benjamin Mears. And also David Fuller as well, who was overtaken by Ian Roots on the last lap. Fuller another driver of these leaders in their respective class maybe putting in together an awesome qualifying and a good start and just being a little bit out of position. And it's dangerous for these guys because remember they have normal FIA point scoring, I believe. And if you finish top of the silver class, you get 25 points. And that doesn't matter if you win the overall class or sorry, win the overall race, or whether you finish 20th in the overall race, you still get 25 points. And that's really what matters for these drivers. So for David Fuller right now, really dangerous situation for him to be in, as now Mears goes wide. He's going to be under pressure from Van der Linden, who goes to the outside into the final corner. Will look to get the cutback. You can see Roy Verke trying to get involved as well. Nice lineup there, trying to square off the corner is Van der Linden, but that Ford maybe not quite delivering the power on the exit, and if anything, losing time as they head down the pit straight and not being able to make a overtake. Ward is really on a charge now. He's now onto the back of Amont, and well, certainly anything can happen between these drivers. From about 5th down to 11th, they're all very close to one another.
Absolutely. Ward driving for Black Sheep Motorsports, a new team on the grid. As you can see now, finally Van der Linden gets the move done on Ben Mews, and also, well, he now loses one place to his class rival Roy Verweg. So, not a good couple of corners for Ben Mews. So, we were talking about Lewis Ward. Here he is, in this train of Audis. As in front of him...
Oh, Reeks came past Miles, apologies.
Yes, trying to get their position. Here we go.
Oh, and under pressure again now is Miles. He's falling down the order, maybe a little bit fuller down the inside. Moves ahead temporarily, but Miles may have the better exit. We've seen this inside line for this final corner being very advantageous. Miles comes across a little bit in the big zone. Quite dangerous there potentially, but they both come away unscathed. And now all of a sudden, Van der Linden as close as ever, 0.2 of a second across the start-finish line. Also got Mears getting past, but Verke is all going on suddenly on this lap 11, going on to lap 12 of the race, and Mears holding back, getting back past Verke.
Yes, yes, good move from Ben Mews, who didn't lose hope after getting overtaken last lap by Verweg and got back at him. Just looking at David Fuller, because now he's up to P16 in overall, so he's certainly holding his own, and that is a big pro. But you are right in what you were saying earlier, because sometimes it's easier to race thinking about your class and your class only, but on the other hand, when you are in such a good position fighting with gold drivers, he has most of the silver field behind him, and of course the entirety of the bronze field behind him, and he's fighting with the gold drivers. You may get a little bit angry, and you might want to have more. So we'll see how he approaches this race. Of course, it's in his full right to fight for an overall position. Let's see how it will evolve the situation from here onwards, as looks like Van der Linden's car is okay after that moment earlier. Well, like we're saying, Tom Mederer wasn't that lucky. I think he had to retire. He's still sitting in the pits.
Yeah, of course, these drivers also earn points towards the overall championship as well. And a few drivers, I imagine, will be aiming for decent results in that as well. So that does matter in terms of your overall position to accumulate those points. But certainly Fuller holding his own and looking pretty close to Chris Miles. Currently, this is the battle for 15th and 16th positions.
I would love to go on board with Fuller, but of course he has pressure from behind as well, and Ben Mews is coming. But I think that it's Chris Miles that is the one creating this little bit of in a track like this, it only takes like you be a couple of tenths off the pace, and all of a sudden you have a train behind you. So, and we have a train of gold, silver, bronze drivers. So as I think Mews got a slowdown there.
Yeah, that's going to cost him a couple of positions. I said earlier on how through that chicane, it can really, it's quite easy to pick up a slowdown. And Mears really falls victim to that, down into 20th place overall. As Phillips now goes side by side with DeWolf. Phillips had an issue earlier on, not quite sure what that was, so he's certainly out
A
of
spin.
position. And
He
yes,
spun
was
at the
that on
chicane.
was that the chicane?
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
If I'm not
He was
mistaken,
running.
Steven the Wolf was racing earlier this. Here we go. The two Team GB Sports teammates side by side. As
Oh, and
Fuller
off.
goes very wide. Oh,
Oh,
be
this could be
careful.
bad. Oh, well done. And through the middle goes Van der Linden. And that was nice opportunistic driving there from
Oh, Verbeek
Van
is
der Linden.
off.
Verbeek goes off now.
Oh, Chris Miles
Oh, and
now.
if off goes into
Chris Miles and Roy Verbeek.
yes.
So I saw I think it was Chris Miles. He was all sorts of sideways. After clipping the grass here, you see he went on the dirty line, then once again on the grass. Then he went wide, and then I think coming back on the track he lost his grip a bit. And oh, then a contact with Ben Muse. Oh dear, that was less than ideal for all three of them, especially for these two. And I was a bit scared when the two teammates went, head to head with each other, because on Monday night in the BSR MX5 on this track, we had 5 teammates starting first to fifth in a race, and they all crashed in the first corner. So I'm a bit
Wow.
still a bit scared by teammates coming near each other in Donington Park. Now one of them managed to win the race in the end, but would have been
impressive.
a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's the only one who managed to come away with just a little bit of a scratch on the hood. But yeah, as we say, of course, hello to the great Year 1 Racing guys. One of the newer teams on the grid in the SRMX5 Mondays, the flip-flops, as we like to call them. So, there are 2 other teammates, Steve Claes and Marvin Amans, both racing for Racecraft Esports, as is the leader Martin van Luzenoord. Of course, Steve Claes running for the silver team, being a silver driver. But in front of his teammate here, and Lewis Ward still there in 9th place, trying to find a way through. And in front of them, a little bit of a subdued battle between Gregory Ranks and Ruben van Buel. They are fighting it out for 6th place.
Yeah, Van Buel's just been edging ever so slightly closer, as Amont has an issue. And had he already lost the position to Ward? No, that is how he has lost that position to Lewis Ward. So Lewis Ward back to his starting place of 8th. Amont's back to his starting place of 9th. And this is that happened. Seems to be an unforced error whilst catching Steve Claes. He's been behind Claes for a while, and a big bit of opposite look. That's must be terrifying as a driver, Marco, because it didn't seem like he did anything wrong there, and yet the car still seemed to give up grip. And, well, certainly you don't want that, because that's really going to reduce his confidence, potentially.
Yes, absolutely. And in a downhill section like this, where the balance of the car is already compromised, of course, you want to be as stable as possible. I want to get a new term out. I would like to say this was a bit of a broadcaster's course, because the moment I changed the camera, and this happens a lot, the mistake happened. So that's less than ideal. Luckily, we have the replays, as Ben Muse now is trying to get past Jeremy Essels, and this is the fight for P3 in their class, as Andrew Opley and his teammate Chris Moretta, with Opley going by, of course, teammates, but driving with different cars, one for Meraki Racing R8 and the other for Meraki Racing MG. Like someone was saying in the chat, thank you, I don't remember, I think it was Anton Dupan. Sorry, it was, of course, it was Daniel McCauley, the silver champion, who is not racing today, but I think he will be back next week. The former name of the team that I couldn't remember was CMR Racing, where also Bot Boland was
Yes.
racing. And you see the livery is more or less the same. I'm assuming you installed the paint pack, Sam, which is a big
I
if.
did.
Oh, yes, you did. Of course, you were downloading
Wait,
it
no.
earlier.
I'm not even sure if it's up to date because I've still got CMR on the side of the car, so I'm not even sure if I got the right livery.
I think you don't at this point, because
Oh dear, I was
let's
so
see.
proud of myself.
No,
I put all the stuff in the right folders and oh dear. This is why I don't even try, to be honest. But there you go. Um, Jeremy Hessel's 16 positions gained. Remarkable. Clearly didn't set a qualifying lap time, as I just see whether or not he did. In fact, he did, but it was just no disrespect to Jeremy or anything. It just wasn't a very good lap time. Seemingly, he did a 26.7. That's 3.5 seconds off the pole time. But certainly making amends for that. He is one of the highest gainers out there on the field. Tyler Vickery also quite a high gainer as well, but he did start
Nice
last there, and
job.
as I say that, he has a spin. Well, that's a
Commentator's
commentator's
curse.
curse on a commentator.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
I mean,
is quite something.
also Steven the Wolf going
As
a little
more.
bit, but that was fantastic timing. Congratulations, of course, commiserations to Tyler, and congratulations to Sam, because that was one of the, timing was perfect, in a bad way, of
He'd
course.
already spun by the time I was saying that I had no idea this had happened to him. And there he goes. A little bit offline. Gets his car out of the way nicely.
And that's
Sorry,
Steven the
Tyler.
Wolf, all on his own as well. So, if I'm not mistaken, Steven was racing in the weekend, or the weekend prior to this, in the 24-hour series race they held at Spa-Francorchamps. I think it was a 12-hour event, in a car that had a similar livery to the one that is driving right now. I think the pictures are in the... Sorry, they are in the Simracersworld Facebook page.
Yes, pretty awesome to have a few real-life drivers in the series. Van Loozen, does Van Loozen not have any connections to real life? I feel like he does, doesn't
Some
he?
of his teammates are real racers, I
Yeah.
remember, but I think he's a motorcycle racer in real life, Martin
There you
Faluzanov,
go.
if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that was another. Oh, is that DeWolf?
Oh dear.
Or is that one of his teammates?
It is Steven the Wolf. So
Oh
I would
dear.
say that we are tied now. As, oh, this is some big damage to Steve Castrop's car. And Tyler Vickery also going for a run in the grass, but that is a very, very bent rear wing for Steve. And let's see what happened to him then.
He's done well to reach the barrier from that point.
Let's
Wonder if
see.
he's going to lead Dima just in front of him. No, he has reached the barrier.
I think that will be it for him. He is in the pits, but if he can get out on the track, it's going to be a long repair for him.
So Vranks still holding off Van Buell. Pit stop window well and truly open. 70% fuel for these drivers. I'm not sure how fuel efficient this circuit is. In one sense, I want to say that it's quite low fuel consumption because you've got quite a few fast corners. But in another sense, pretty much all the corners you're flats out through because there's so many kinks and whatnot. It is quite a high-speed circuit, but we'll have to wait and see. They certainly can come into the pits if they feel like it, but with the lack of chains, the chains very much that we saw in the early stages have broken up. And so the undercut really isn't that necessary for many of the drivers. Could it be necessary for Ronald Moons though, because so far he hasn't been able to get past Jeremy Hessels. This is about to put 18th and 19th places overall, 3rd and 4th in the silver category. And Moons certainly does seem to have the advantage on pace, although actually Hessels started behind him. Hessels is up 16 places from his start, but Moons looks to be pretty confident in that car with Dion Phillips recovering after an early spin. So all these guys have a claim to maybe be the fastest out of these three. But certainly that BMW fantastic over the curbs at the chicane and pulling away a little bit. Here comes Phillips looking to the inside. A little bit of a late defensive move there from Moons, as we hear instance between car 254 and 321 will be reviewed after the race.
Oh yes.
254
So
is
is
Lee
Lee
Deemer,
Dimmer
and 321
is Craig
is
Jones.
Craig Jones. There you go.
So yes, Sam has access to the communications of the stewards, so he will keep up to date. Thank you, of course, to the organizers for giving us all these important news. Was this what happened? Or was just no? I think this was just a mistake from Craig Jones' part. I might imagine. Yes, he went off, so it's not the incident they are talking about. What I was trying
I've
to
got
say.
a pink.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I've got a pink livery for Craig Jones. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So maybe I got a couple of them.
Okay.
Correct. I'm not sure. I'm a big fan of pink liveries, by the way. After the Force India of 2017, I'm a massive fan of pink liveries. So good to see Craig sporting that one today.
I wanted to make a point about something which I'm not remembering right. Oh yes, of course. We were talking about Ronald Moons, who is now racing for his new team, Race Masters Esports, because if I am not mistaken, Simmortal the team, not Simmortal the car makers, the diecast makers. Simmortal, just the racing team, has suspended activities for a bit, and so Ronald, who's driving for Simmortal, has now found a new home and sitting now in P19 overall. As you can see, he's in a battle with Dion Phillips behind him and Jeremy Essels in front of him.
Certainly keeping Hessel's honest is Moons after Hessel's got the move done a few laps ago. Ellipse trail braking that. It cost him a little bit on the exit. Very nearly making contact. They are losing a bit of time here. Moons has to get this move done. He's got Benjamin Mears in third position in the silver category. Only a few seconds up the road. Can he get the move done here? He looks to the inside. And now running a little bit wide is Hessels, and this could be the best opportunity for Moons. He'll stick in the slipstream, just not a particularly long straight here at Donington. Looks to the inside, not a big enough braking zone, you feel. And after we saw a collision at this corner earlier on when drivers attempted to go too wide, really not a wise thing to go for a dive. But once again, struggling through that chicane as well, Moons. That's the one corner that he seems to be slower through. Everywhere else he seems to have the edge marker, but that's the one corner that matters because it leads up to the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit.
Maybe it's just a matter of getting it with confidence, and sometimes every time you get in. Oh, we have a disappearance for Jeremy Essels, so hopefully he will come back. But so far he hasn't. As I would say, you need to have the confidence, of taking that chicane, knowing that you are not going to take it, because the drivers go there and think, oh, what if I get a slowdown? At least that's what I think most of the times when I'm not 100% confident. So I end up taking it a little bit easier, and then of course I get freight trained by quicker drivers who are going to pass me regardless. But that is that's not the point. So maybe that is why. Maybe he doesn't want to, because it's very easy to get a slowdown there, because the moment you clip those ballers there, you are basically more often than not tagged with a big slowdown.
Yeah, so certainly just nailing that chicane one time and gaining a little bit of confidence could be very useful. Because when you're following another driver as well, ever so difficult to pick your apexes. We did get a request. We haven't really given too much attention to these top drivers. And that's because they've kind of just been separating out ever so slightly. Martin Van Leeuwenhoek now 5 seconds ahead of Ife Van Genekten. Van Genekten responding a little bit in recent laps, maintaining the gap, but Van Leeuwenhoek seems to have the measure on Van Genekten, and undoubtedly, I think after this race, I may well have to may well get a little bit more motivation, I'd say, and because the demands of winning in this race certainly do seem to have stepped up with the with the increase of pace from Martin Van Loosen, the new driver to this race. Jeremy Hessels, by the way, did have a connection issue. Received throughput fell to an unacceptable level, so shame that, because Hessels was having an awesome race. As into the pits comes Van Genekten, and he's gonna come in a little bit earlier than he had to. These drivers should be able to reach approximately the 40 to 45 minute mark. This 34 minutes into the race, so slightly unusual. We'll see if it works out for the defending champion.
Keep an eye on where EF will come out, and of course we can use his pit stop as a baseline. Here we go. So he does 15.7 in the pit stall, and overall it's going to be a 37-second stop. He's got Marvin Amans in front of him. He is 1.5 seconds in front of him, and he's got Avon Marshall and Nick Schurmans behind him. So not a lot of traffic, but of course if he can get on the back of Amans quickly, it's going to be a problem for him. So he needs to, you know, hope that the car in front of him has some good pace, which, you know, Marvin has shown because he's in the top 10. He's been there all race long, and let's see how the situation evolves, and if Van Loosenord and the other top runners will respond.
Yeah, it could be a smart decision to cover off, because you can see with the amount of traffic ahead for Van Loosenord, with the shortness of this track, you reach the back markers quite quickly. Bod Boland hasn't really been pulling away, particularly from the Tige. The Tige still within 2 seconds, so he's he's vulnerable from the undercut, but still they are staying up. John McConville into the pits now.
Yes, he was sitting in second place for a bit, and then the graphics updated, and he's been sent back.
Yes.
Way back.
I was very confused there, actually.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry.
Well, the problem for me is that I can only have 27 cars showing at any one time, so my timing screen is constantly messing up, and I don't actually have any idea what's going on from 28th place and lower. Could be the mother of all races going on there, but unfortunately I can't see it, as off goes a backmark, I believe.
I think it was
So,
Roy Verbeek.
Clayton will move through. Yes. These drivers who have taken an early one-stopper, an early stop in the middle of or the back of the field mark, I don't think it's working out for them, because they're now being lapped, and that costs you so much time just being put offline constantly. And I must say, I think these drivers will learn later on in the season, if you're in the middle or the back end of the field, stay out for as long as possible. Don't get lapped, because this whole process can cost you a lot of time.
Yes, and look at EF Van Genekten, of course, fighting through the lappers as well. And this is, you basically took the words out of my mouth, because I was about to say this is going to be a learning process for all the drivers, old and new. It's not easy to get it right the first time around, as we have the Tige and Ruben van Buel in the pits, 4th and 6th place respectively. Van Loosenord and Boland continue, and now Van Genekten is on the back of no, because that is a lapped car, so yeah, still the gap is around 1.2 seconds between himself and Marvin Amans. Steve Claes is always there in front of Lewis Ward, 4th and 5th for the moment, for the time being, as still no cover. Oh,
and
no!
off goes Clays, loses the rear end of the car. He takes out a back mark as well, number 36 that was. And, well, it's gone terribly for Steve Clays, the silver class leader. And all of a sudden, he came together with Ben Leluin. And this is how it happened. Offline. I think he was put off a little bit by Ben braking slightly. He broke himself, and that just disturbed the car so much, and spearing into his rival. Yeah, just on the brake, soft line. And, well, Steve Clays will be furious with that one. Not too much damage, seemingly, on that car. He can still recover a podium. In fact, he's only 1 second behind the new silver leader, Nick Sherman's. But, well, he will be kicking himself for that one, will Steve Clays, because that's a potential race victory going begging.
And Schurmans straight away goes for the pits. Gregory Ranks has also pitted, and that is Van Genegten now moving up to 5th. So let's get a recap of the pit situation, shall we? And here we go, on the left side of your screen, you can see top 4 yet to pit. Van Genegten has pitted, then we have Marshall, Clays, and Moretta, and Van der Linden of the top 10 runners yet to pit. Behind them, most of the field has already come in for their stop. And of course, once again, we are waiting for the race leaders. Will this the time? Will this be the time for Van Loosener? No, it won't. Bot Boland, 21 seconds behind. Those brakes really glowing. We are going to have a couple of night races, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure we are going to have one night today race, I think in Spa, if I'm not mistaken, which is going to be great, if you ask me. So we can really, you know, enjoy somewhat of an endurance feel to the event. But Boland stays out. Lewis Ward, he stays out as well. Marvin Amans, now under big pressure from Van Genegten, and he's a teammate with Van Loosener, so there is also could be, you know, some sort of gamesmanship with this. Oh well, only 20 minutes left in the race. This is, sorry if I sound surprised, but this has really went by in a hurry, if you ask me. And it wasn't. There is nothing wrong in Amans, you know, trying to do his best to stay in front of Van Genegten. He's completely within the laws of racing.
Yes, absolutely. Might get banned from their Discord server, though. So, well, if I was him, I wouldn't put up too much fight. But you could argue Van Genegten, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be offering a fight to Van Loosener. This undercut hasn't worked too well for him. Could be difficult, this, and they're losing each other quite a bit of time. I don't know if Amons was trying to let his teammate pass there, but lifting off as they came out of that corner.
As
And
Van
Van
Loosener is pitting.
just losing more and more time. Yeah, Van Loosener in. He's put in some good times. He should be well clear unless he gets a stop and hold penalty. By the way, the Spa will be night into day. Sebring will be day into night. And yeah, that's it for those types of races. And Van Genegten goes down the outside. Could be awkward this because into the pits, I think, may have been a Mons. And fortunately, they didn't cross over one another. A Heidfeld Raikkonen instance, Silverstone 08 is really the only instance I can think of in terms of when that's happened in real life. But fortunately, it didn't happen today. Van Genegten still behind Van Loosener. The gap between the effective top two is 6 seconds. So he didn't lose too much time there, the Van Genegten. I thought he'd lost more time, actually, due to the amount of traffic he was having to deal with. But he's still in range just in case Van Loosener makes a mistake, as we saw with Clays, of course, spearing out from the silver class lead earlier on.
As Steve Clays is under review, his incident there with poor Ben Llewellyn. Now, I'm a big fan of, don't ask me why, I'm a big fan of Welsh football. It pains me to say this, and I know that in Welsh the double L is pronounced like a sound, a very, you know. For example, there's a team called Llanelli, for example, no? So maybe I should ask him the way we pronounce his name, because it could be a very messy Welsh pronunciation, if you ask me. Hopefully Ben gives us some news, maybe when he's a little bit happier, because now, of course, I think this is the least of his problems after you know, having that big crash that effectively ruined his race.
Of course, Wei Han Chan, our co-commentator at ApexRacingTV, he seems to be obsessed with the of course, I can't recite it, unfortunately, but the train station with the notoriously long name, it ends Goch 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 at the end of it. And, well, I don't know if he's able to recite that. I say recite that, it is just a word, but it's a very long word, about 30-odd letters. And, of course, well, anyone who's really respects Welsh culture will be familiar with it. Here is the silver lead, and Steve Clays, despite a crash, overcuts Nick Sherman's
Yes,
big
but
change of position that, and
will he get a
well,
penalty?
Clay's 10th overall.
Will he get a
Well,
penalty because he's under review?
uh,
I mean, that seems like a racing incident, but in effect, he ruined a competitor's race. I don't know how he's able to go on with that rear wing, which looks like it has been crushed under some very very heavy weight. But also it looks a little bit, now that I think about it, looks a bit. I mean, it is almost like it has a U in the middle, so certainly not doing any good to his car, but could have been worse. Even though I think, usually the one thing you don't want to destroy in these cars in a racing is the rear wing.
of course, iRacing will be bringing a new damage model. Some of it has been rolled out in the GTE cars we've seen. And down the inside there, that is brave from Clays. And as he gets his incident, no further action. Well, he nearly gets investigated by the stewards once again because, well, that move was out of nowhere on the back marker, number 36. Wait, that wasn't Llewellyn again, was it?
No,
Surely
he's
not.
out of the race now. I think
No,
he's
yes.
yeah. Need to get a new penalty information overlay showing. I need to update it from the new module from Pascal, so we can get the nice penalty information and driver no further action. We'll work on that for next week. I promise you.
Yes. Awesome. And I'll try to download the paint pack. That will be my contribution.
Oh, all of the paint pack,
Uh,
possibly. Not
yeah,
only a bit of the
yeah.
paint pack.
I must say, it's really awkward. 6 different cars, sorry. Gonna be much more considerate, just making it the one, but there you go. De Wolf, wide. He's a lap down. Was running as high as about 15th position was Stephen De Wolf earlier on. Far from that now. Gregory Frank's trying to go down the inside and, well, scaring De Wolf off the circuit there. They are teammates, I believe. So that was really out of nowhere as Boland under massive pressure from De Tige down into turn 1 this lap 33. Some damage on the front of Bod Boland's car. Not sure how long he's had that, but apologies, Marco, because I seem to have completely neglected this battle. We've casually got a 4-car battle for the final spot on the podium.
It really came out of nowhere after the pit stop cycle. I was a bit surprised looking at the time.
Boland had a 32 lap that last time and he was 6 seconds off the pace. That's why it's happened.
Okay, so maybe a mistake somewhere for Bod Boland, I'd say.
Oh, he's under big pressure now.
Yeah.
2/10 of a second between 3rd and 4th. Matthias De Tige has been keeping Boland honest, and Boland, well, he hasn't been honest because he's had an off, seemingly picked up some damage, and it's costing him badly now. Van Buell and Franks keeping these two honest. You've got Lewis Ward as well. He's been on fire since the early stages of the race, getting 3 positions as the race has gone on after a little bit of a poor start. He's only 3.5 seconds behind, so could get involved in this one as well. And I've got 12 minutes to go, and I would not like to be in Bod Boland's shoes whatsoever. Wants to be best of the rest. There's no doubt that Van Leeuwenhoek and Donington has dominated today's race. But Boland, I'm sure, would like to accumulate another podium, of course, just another one, which after he accumulated so many last season. De Tige is right on the rear wing. He's looking to the inside now. Not usually an overtaking spot, and not quite the room available. But Boland cannot afford to make a single mistake because he seems to really be struggling down the straights.
We also have a fantastic battle for the lead in the silver class. We will jump to that as soon as possible, with Clays still in front of Schurmans despite the damage that he suffered in that crash. No further action once again. So, will the Tige go for it? I think this is not the place to do it. Will he listen to me? Oh. Usually it's a bad idea to listen to me, but that time it was the right thing.
Your Skip Barber racing proving important there.
Battlestar 12-hour winner. Sebring. I cannot even remember the race
Sebring,
I win.
apology.
I win too many races, so I don't remember which one I won. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great joke. So down the inside goes Clays. This is around Marshall and Shutters. I always mean to introduce you, Marco, as Sebring 12 hours winner, Marco Barbner, but I always forget. So I'll try to change that for round 2 of the championship next week. But it was a great achievement, you know, and you carried that team as well to the checker flag. So it's not as though you had a fantastic teammate or anything.
I carried the team for 3 hours and a half of the 12-hour race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say hello to my teammate Alessandro Dalledon, who is now abroad for 6 months. So, yeah.
Of course, you paid that holiday for him for driving alongside you. So.
Exactly. So I won't win any race, any enduro anytime soon. The Tige seems to have a good run, but I think he has to wait, because if he goes for a move here, he has a bad exit, and then he cannot attack his rival. It seems like he's been able to keep it a little bit more conservative, but now he spins.
Oh, and into the wall as well. Damage for Mateus de Tige. He's going to fall behind Ward. He might even fall behind Amance as well. He's going to be okay, but how much damage is on that car? De Tige look set for a podium, really, easing up to the back of his rival. And maybe Marco was correct that he was going for the move too early. Takes too much of this curb, unsettles the car on the bumps, and a big hit into the wall. Decent final sector though from de Tige from what I can see, so maybe not too much damage on that car, might just get away with it.
Also Marcel van der Linden in his beautiful Ford. That is not ideal. Are there spare parts available for this car? Because I would be a bit concerned. Even though it seems like, it had a couple of big hits this car, and it's still holding on quite nicely.
Yeah, maybe just use it as a battering ram or something against his rivals. Does seem to be a little bit unstoppable. Unfortunately, I think that's probably the best use of that car, but hopefully as the season progresses. The BOP might be accurate, to be fair, already. But well, hopefully you'll see a few more Ford drives as the season goes on. Boland. So now Boland's next challenger. He's thwarted the attack from de Tige. Next up, Ranks in the other Sim Racers World car. Trying to make it one Sim Racers World car on the podium. We've currently got 7 different teams in the top 7. Sorry, 6 different teams in the top 6 places, which is good.
I should have the.
Has Amance just had an issue? No, sorry, no. He was always behind the teacher. Apologies. I'm having a stroke, I think. As Ranks 0.3 of a second behind. And no, just staying behind for now.
You can see the team names on the left side of your screen, just for a bit, so you can get an idea of the situation. As you can see, impossible to pass around here. Just need to follow, just need to get a good run. Bad exit there for Boland, and they crash!
And into another 3rd and 4th positions crash, and through goes Ruben Van Buell up into the podium places. Boland, who hung on to 3rd position for so long, he may not even score any points, and he's gone into another driver now. It's at de Tige.
De Tige, yes.
And they've come together for the 2nd time. Boland out of the race. His car is completely wrecked, and what drama producing in the final 10 minutes of this race.
Dear oh dear, let's watch it from the chopper to have a clearer picture of what happened. So we were running on board with Gregory Ranks. So Boland went back on the track He lost it. Oh man. You cannot write it in a script, I think. These two guys, I mean, incredible scenes, and out of nowhere we have Ruben van Buell on the podium, and I mean, good for Gregory Ranks that he's still going now under pressure from Lewis Ward. He's gotta have some damage. Gregory Ranks there, but consistency is a very, very good thing, and keeping your car clean can do wonders for your race, as Ruben van Buell can say, as he's now sitting in P3 now. P3 and P4 seems to be cursed positions so far in this final fill up, so I wouldn't say anything about how good a podium is for Ruben. We will wait a bit. Let's see if Ward and Ranks are able to resolve their issue over P4 in the next few laps, as they have, I think that is Tyler Vickery, maybe, in front of them. Yes, he is.
Well, I'd hopefully we'll get a chat with any of these drivers, to be honest. Particularly Lewis Watt, because he has been climbing the standings, was down as low as a 9th position, or even 10th position, I believe, earlier on. Had to get the moves done on circuit. And he's up into 5th position now, and trying to use the traffic to his advantage. Car around there, one of the back markers, but not one of the front runners. Ranks seemingly not too much damage on that car. He's only 1.2 seconds off Van Buell. He's got one car in between him. That is the 25th place car. I think that might be Ben Mears. I'm not quite sure. Or Berg. I'm not quite sure. But through goes Ranks. Say now there's nothing between third, fourth, and fifth positions as it stands. 1.5 seconds separating the three of them. Now, difficult position for Van Buell. He's had nothing to lose for these past few laps. He's been at the back of a decently sized train, hoping that they'd all come together. They have all come together, and now he's the one at the front of this 3-car train. He's got to keep his nerve.
I mean, what can we say about what just happened in these last 3 or 4 laps with drama all over the place and 1 hour? You know, it's always a good sign when the race goes on, very, very quickly. Like I said, I was really surprised when I look at the clock and it was already 40 minutes gone. Now we have only 3 minutes and a bit left. I think that Ruben van Buell will be okay in this podium spot. I risk this prediction because Lewis Ward is still very much a big presence in Gregory Ranks' rear view mirrors. And Marten van Loosenord, of course, there in the lead. Seems like he has it in the bag. Just a quick recap of the other classes. Top 3 in the silver class. Steve Klaes, you see him here. And he's leading his class, okay. And then we have Nick Schurmans in second place, 2.5 seconds back, so a couple of cars in between them. Ben Mears is in third. David Fuller has dominated the bronze class. Ben Taines is in second, as you can see him is here, a big gap between the two of them. And Thijs Berge is in third place, P28 overall. Back to this fight for P4.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of retirements as well in this race. We've had, only 41 cars ended up taking the start, and only 31 of them are still going kind of okay. So that's a quarter of the drivers with big issues. A pretty high attrition rate today at Donington. It's a motorbike circuit, so you'd expect these walls to be far enough away from the cars to be, to not make contact. But certainly seen plenty of instances. It's been a thrilling round 1 of the championship. And, thanks for everyone for tuning in. We've had about 40 people watching consistently on YouTube as the race goes on, so we certainly do appreciate it. And of course, if you could do so, please leave this video a like and also subscribe to the channel, because obviously you want to see the rest of the races in this series, and of course on Apex Racing TV as well. Ian Roots with a bit of an issue, still in 15th position, but is there going to be any changes with a couple of laps to go in this battle? 8/10 of a second between 3rd and 4th, 4/10 of a second between 4th and 5th. We've also got Detige coming under increasing pressure from Clays with the damage that, of course, Detige has. There's still some opportunity for some overtakes in the top 10, and Ranks is edging closer at the moment, and if he can get in that slipstream range as well, he will have a good chance. Here comes Claves. He's got to be super careful, Marco, because he's got the silver class victory on a platter for him right now, and he's throwing it away already a couple of times.
Yes, I mean, he has to be very careful because he's already under the, eye of the judges. Of course, clear racing incident, that one he had earlier. But would you risk the race win in your class to get one more position? I don't know if I would. And also here, once again, Ranks and Ward very, very close to each other, as Marten van Luzenoord, I think he is in his last lap. So this will be the one starting now, the last lap for these guys as well. Marten van Luzenoord right now, he is getting into the final section of the racetrack. So yes, he got the white flag and he will win the race in a matter of seconds. We will cut to him the moment he is ready to win. But we will try to follow this battle till the end of the race. And Claes goes around. This is incredible.
Dear.
But
And
man,
off.
Schulman
And
is able
Sherman's
to pass
just
him.
squeezes through. Ewan Marshall as well involved. Well, and
roadblock.
another car as well. The 375 car, I think, what's that? It may have even been Ben Mears. But, well, after all of that, we're going to have to cut to the race leader because Martin van Loosenord wins the round 1 of Season 4 of the DynamiXX Simracersworld Series. A crazy ending. Those final 10 laps were absolutely phenomenal. Van Genekten, the defending champion, will finish in 2nd position. Van Pure will be in 3rd. Ranks trying to hold off Ward. Can he go down the inside? Just about defending is the driver currently occupying 4th position. Ward will try to get the cut back. He'll go to the outside. Can he try to pull off the dummy? He'll try to do so, but defending right to the inside of the circuit is Ranks. There's surely no way through for Lewis Ward. He'll try his best to get the move done, but just a little bit of oversteer as well in the final corner prevents him from pushing for one last time. He finishes in 5th position. Sherman's, well, how on earth is this going to happen? Clays crashed one time. He almost had another crash. He did have another crash on the last lap of the race. And Nick Sherman's will pick up the pieces and pick up a race win in the silver category for Sim Racers World Pro Am. The winner in the, well, it'll be Mears, won't it, in 2nd position.
Yes.
He will beat Steve Clays. And, well, Clays will be absolutely furious with that one. And across the line goes Mears. Clays will be in 3rd position in that category, just holding off Phillips. And the winner, unfortunately, couldn't see him cross the line. But the winner of the bronze category was Fuller, of course.
Yes, here we go. Let's show him getting through the final few corners. Of course, a little bit of stuff going on in the meantime, and we really need a split screen, I always say, but sadly iRacing limitations, but here is well deserved. David Fuller was on a class of his own today, and he was able to get the bronze race win right there. So let's watch it once again. I mean, if we can get a replay of what happened in the final lap in the silver class, and not only there, of course, but let's try and go. This is a bit too early, but you can see, on board. So let's try and catch. Steve Clays. Oh, okay. Next time will be the charm. Here we go.
Yes, it goes to the outside. Well,
It reminds me a lot of
I think it's
Verstappen
just-
in Brazil last season.
Yeah, maybe. I would say he left a decent amount of room. Who was it who he was alongside? It was Detige, wasn't it? Tatish seemed to take a little bit of an odd racing line there, quite a late turn in, which, I think that's just his normal line through that corner. And the two of them came together, but this is what we were talking about. You're the leader of the silver category. Was it worth taking this move? Well, of course, in hindsight, which is 2020, it wasn't worth the move. And yeah, round he went and drops from first to third in the silver category. What a finale that was of round one. We cannot wait for the next 11 rounds. Of course, all being shown on Apex Racing TV. But out in front, who faced pretty much no drama, at least from what we saw, was Martin van Leeuwenhoek dominating round one of the Dynamic Sim Racers World GT Series. He was 6 seconds ahead of Next and the two of them in a class of their own today. Hopefully, they will battle one another for the championship this season. Ruben van Buell was in third position, benefiting from late chaos ahead of Gregory Franks. Lewis Ward couldn't quite make the move in the closing stages. Marvin Julien Amants was another beneficiary of the chaos. Matthias de Tige was part of the chaos, having a spin, ends up in 7th position. Probably quite fortunate that he even recovered from that after a couple of crashes. Nick Sherman's was in 8th position, the winner of the silver category, with Andrew Hopley in 9th. There's Chris Moretta, Ewan Marshall, and Ben Mears rounding up the top 12. There's Steve Clay's leader in the silver category for so long. He had 2 crashes in the end, still finishes on the podium. So arguably, damage limitation for him. Dion Phillips was in 14th, and everyone else was 1 lap down. We had Ian Roots, Marcel van der Linden, David Fuller, the winner of the bronze category, with Ronald Means, Lee Deemer, and Kevin Boland rounding out the top 20 overall. Then behind that was Ben Taines, Roy Viverke, Jules Moody, Stephen DeWolf, Stuart Musselwhite, John McConville, Robbie Carrender, Jochen Lennartz, Theisberg, James Hobden, Lee Woodburn, Bod Bernard, Tyler Vickery, Boland. A bit everyone further down than Boland was a retiree. Boland, Tyler Vickery, Stephen Castrop, Ben Llewellyn, Craig Jones, Jeremy Hessels, Chris Miles, Sebastian Herbuer, Tom Metherell, Luke Dyes, and then Malcolm Growls. Daleman and Dupan did not take the start. Well, of course, we will have some interviews with drivers, and usually we get plenty of drivers actually willing to have an interview. And once again, that is the case today. And I think the first driver we're going to have a chat with is Martin van Leeuwenhoek.
Also got some guys in.
It seemed to be an easy race victory as we rudely interrupt his conversation. But Martin, at least from what we could see, absolute domination out there, no dramas whatsoever. From what we could see, quite an easy race win.
Hello, guys. Hello, Marco, Sam. I wouldn't say easy because I'm quite sweating my head off at the moment. So I still had to push. I'd push all race long, and couldn't afford any mistakes. So that was the goal, and it worked out.
Of course, this is a circuit where it's very difficult to overtake. Was that in your thinking in preparation for this race? Were you targeting qualifying, knowing that pole position would be so important?
I think there are a few spots where you can overtake, where it all depends on the exit. But yeah, of course, it's always you need to try to get pole, and that's half of the game, really. So, and we managed to do it, luckily. So yeah.
Of course, the traffic was very prominent today. You had to lap a lot of cars. How was that? Because you had relatively close to you all the way through. You couldn't be too cautious, otherwise that gap would fall. But at the same time, of course, a mistake lapping the traffic, and that would be very costly.
Yeah, the traffic was quite a thing, but everyone was really aware of the guys coming in with the blue flags and stuff. Some were a bit tougher, but I think in the end everyone was doing quite well. So yeah, you do need to manage the traffic and pick a point where you showing yourself that you're that you're going to pass them at that sort of point. And I think that's the sort of traffic management that you're looking at.
Of course, we've seen you race the Renault 3.5 car previously. Are you kind of mounting an assault for the GT3 cars, and what other series are you racing in at the moment?
Yeah, I'm sort of changing to the GT cars. I do like it, but I don't like it as much as the open wheelers. But still, I think I'm going to aim for the pro license whenever I can get it with a GTE series or the VRS. I'm not sure how, but I'm looking into it and going for the GTs.
We certainly wish you the best of luck for that one. And of course, next round of the championship will be held at Laguna Seca, one that you got much experience around.
Yeah, I love Laguna Seca. It's a really challenging track. A track where yeah, you can win and you can lose there. It's tough to say. You've got the red sleeping policeman over there. You just need about to hit him, but not that hard, and then you're nailing the lap. So I think it's all about nailing the lap and know how to nail the lap, and that's gonna give you another win. So yeah, let's see. Let's practice for it.
Absolutely. We wish you the best of luck for that one. Martin, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I would like to thank you guys for covering this series. Would like to thank the guys from the series, the league as well, Ian Roots and all the other guys. I would like to thank Uitert for being a sponsor, UGX Racing Simulators, also Duke Designs, and the guys who helped us out with building the set and get the practice going.
Thanks, Martin. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Now, I've got a few other tries to have an interview with. Who do you fancy having a chat with, Marco?
I want to talk with. Let's talk with. I want to talk with Steve Clays, but I will leave the honor to you because we should have
Oh, dear.
the
I might get shouted at.
the bronze class winner with us, of course. Driving car 333, David Fuller. Hello, David. So I gather you didn't know you won the race until after the race.
Yeah, I've seen there was a guy with a number 346 or something, so I thought he was the leader. I did think I was leading it until I went to pit and I missed my pit stall, so I had to drive through the pits. So yeah, a bit of a cock up there.
Well, it went well in the end. You had a very, very good pace compared to the rest of your class. Seems like you were, also battling it out with the gold and silver drivers for most of the race. So it must be, something that gives you a lot of hope for the rest of the season.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I think the first race nerves are out of the way now. I had a good battle with my teammate at the start. I don't know if he was showing it, but Chris Miles. And then unfortunately we tried to give each other too much room. And then I think it was a Ford come through. And then that ended his race, my teammate, and then it was just sort of damage recovery after that. But yeah, hopefully for the rest of the season, it's a good sign.
And next week we will be in Laguna Seca. What are your thoughts about that racetrack?
I'm really bad at Laguna. It's probably as bad as Donington, to be honest. So just looking forward to getting that one out of the way, I think. Just nice clean race and go from there.
Thank you very much, David. Once again, congratulations. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Ian Roots, just for everything all the hard work that he puts in. Some new guys like me and Chris, we've been nagging him quite a bit. How you do certain things on the website and what have you. So just thanks to him for hosting it and for his patience. Top bloke.
Thank you very much, David, and catch you next week then.
Hopefully on the podium, yeah. Cheers,
Uh,
guys.
thank you. That was David Fuller, winner in the bronze class. Now I think, Sam, you can have a talk with Steve Clays.
Yes, absolutely. Steve Clays, of course, third position in the silver category. After two crashes, Steve, to still finish in third position, 5 seconds off the lead in the silver category. Whilst you must be a little bit disappointed, that's not too bad.
I guess a little disappointed is an understatement. I am totally not pleased with the result because I was leading the silver class. I had a very good qualified position. Okay, the pace at the front I could not follow. That was, yeah, I was more taking it easy. Let's say not going for the very very fast laps, but just consistent laps. And yeah, I made one mistake with the lapper with Ben, and yeah, the other was, yeah, let the admins decide what it was.
Yeah, probably. It's a difficult situation that you were in on the final lap because did you think about maybe staying behind Mateus on that final lap, or were you always going to go for the move and try to get seventh place overall?
Well, I'm a racer, so if I can gain a position, I'm going to go for it. And I knew he was damaged. I knew he was slower, so there was a big chance for overtaking him. If he would be the same pace as me, then I would not have, yeah, going over, or I would have not tried it as hard. But he was wounded, you know. Even I was wounded, but he was even slower as I. So yeah, just wanted to seventh. You know, I think before the crash with Ben, I think I was fifth or sixth or something. So I was already a little bit disappointed of losing those positions.
Yeah, you certainly, you certainly had the pace advantage and very nearly pulled off that move. Very unfortunate in the end, but looking forward to next round. You know, you got Laguna Seca for round two. You certainly seem to establish yourself as the fastest silver driver. I guess it's just making amends for today and absolutely providing on that race round two of the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for round two at Laguna Seca, and I will try my best again to be the best silver driver there. Uh, Here, third is not that bad, you know. I wanted the top 10 overall and being the best silver driver. Nothing all is, not everything is lost, but okay, we will try again next week.
Absolutely, it's been great to watch you out there today, Steve. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Well, first off, I want to thank the team. I want to thank Maarten for the good setup, the help. We practiced quite a lot together, and I think it showed off as a team. So I really want to thank yeah, the team as a whole, and again the league for putting another great season all together. So and yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Steve, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks. Bye bye.
A couple more interviews to do. Margot, who do you fancy having a chat with now?
We'll take the boss at the end. So for now, we take Marvin Amans, who also a driver for Racecraft Esports, but a driver for the Gold team. And if I'm not mistaken, this was his series debut, and he finished in a very nice P6. Hello, Marvin.
Hello, thanks. Yes, it was a hard race. I'm very happy with the sixth position. At the end of the race, there was some trouble in front of me with two drivers, so I gained two places. I was driving in P8 at that moment, so I was happy with P8. After the pit stop, it was kind of hard to find again the pace, but yeah, with some luck, I gained some.
And looking at the calendar, of course, next week is a track very, very similar to this because at Laguna Seca passing will be at a premium as well. There are, just a couple of passing spots that I can think of, but of course you need to be 100% committed. So, will you guys spend extra time in, qualifying practice for next week?
Well, we did last week or 2 weeks ago with the VRS series. We did a lot of training on Laguna Seca because we knew that Laguna Seca was the second race in this series. I like the track very well. It's a fast one. It can be slippery at some times, but yeah, I think I like it more than Donington. Donington was one of the the angry tracks for me because I don't drive there a lot.
Um, well, I think that sixth place was good for you to start the season. What are your what are you aiming for from now until the end of this season?
Well, for this race, I was aiming for top 10. Well, I've done that. So now I will aim for top 5, and I'll hope I can catch Martin, but he is incredible fast. But yeah, it's the goal to compete with him. So I think P2 is my goal. It's a hard one, but I think we can do it.
Well, thank you very much, Marvin. Before we let you go, anyone you would like to thank?
Yeah, thank you. I will thank all my teammates, Martin, Steve, and Steve. We did hard works the last weeks, and yeah, if we keep this like we did last weeks, we will come that far. Thanks.
Thank you very much, and once again, congratulations for your good result in the first race.
Thank you.
Well, finally, we'll have an interview with the boss. It is Ian Roots, and Ian. Before we have a chat about the series, just a quick word on your race. 15th position, 24th on the grid. We saw you have a couple of offs, but considering the issues that other drivers had around you, you must be feeling okay about that.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Good evening, guys. Actually, I feel really pleased about that. To be honest, I'm just literally looking at the results now. I think I was the second place Mercedes. I am, because Chris Moretta was the highest place Mercedes. So I'm quietly pleased. Yeah, very pleased indeed. It was a great opening lap. From what I could see from my position, it was pretty clean. I'm not sure what you guys saw from where you sat, but it was quite a clean lap. I expected it to be quite chaotic, but it was once everybody had got in line, it was sensible driving out there. So congratulations on what I saw. It was really good.
Yeah, certainly from what we saw on that opening lap was very kind. The last 10 minutes, you'll have to watch it back. But that was when it got a little bit chaotic. Of course, second place, Mercedes, certainly know how you're going to up your position because one of the new rules, of course, is the dynamic balance of performance. I can imagine all the weight is being taken off the Mercedes for next week, but that should certainly raise the competitiveness, and that's probably the reason why we've seen such great diversity amongst the cars today.
Yeah, it's, as you guys know, it took a long time to sort that out. We were running out of time towards the end, but I think it's right. Donington is a track that doesn't really suit the Mercedes anyway. It really doesn't have a chance to stretch its legs, so we won't touch it. We'll leave it where it is. The balance of performance. We're off to Laguna Seca next, I believe. That's going to be another tough track for the Mercedes, but yeah, we'll see how it pans out in the season. But diversity, definitely. And I didn't expect to be battling with a Ford in season 4, and I was practically the second half of the race. So yeah, diversity's there. There's a few Ferraris on the grid. A couple of Ferraris not there tonight, but there's some coming in. So yeah, it's certainly looking better, and I'm sure it gave you guys a little bit more to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, you must be pleased with the amounts of sign-ups so far this season. 40 signs. I believe there's a few other drivers as well who unfortunately couldn't make this evening. It kind of just shows when you can consistently get 40 drivers every single season, how successfully this series is going.
Yeah, the goal was always to try and get between 40 and 50. We've achieved that this season. You know, guys have signed up. Guys have, for the first time, have paid up, which is fantastic. So that they're wanting to race, which is good news for us. And we just hope that we continue in the vein we're going and give everybody the enjoyment of watching and you guys and commentating. I know you guys love it. It is going from strength to strength, and yeah, season one to me looks like successful. We finally got a challenger for Eve. He was beaten by 5 seconds tonight. He's probably going to have to up his game a little bit. He's got some challenge to do there. Ruben did very well tonight in the BMW as well. So yeah, so it's going to be a good season. Really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it as well. And also, of course, another rule change is the reduced amount of fuel. How did that turn out? Because I was saying earlier on how it possibly forces the drivers to have to make more on-track moves. The fact that you can't just go for like a half an hour undercuts or whatever, have like a mega early stop. Everyone's kind of pitting a little bit more similar times. Certainly, from my point of view, I thought it made it made it a lot better. The fact that everyone pitted within about 10 minutes of one another.
Yeah, I think it was the right thing to do. It gives people a little bit more opportunity as well. It makes the second part of the race slightly longer, which gives you more chance to regain positions if you lose in the pit stop phase. It also gives you a little bit more chance to actually gain positions in the pit stop phase as well. So, yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. I think 70 is a happy medium. We've done it lower, now we've done it higher, and now we've hit this medium. I think we're right. As you know, we try these things from season to season and we're looking for the perfect series, and so far tonight from what I've seen it looks pretty good so far.
Well, yeah, thanks for providing the series once again, Ian, and well, thanks for such a entertaining race one. We're looking forward to the next 11, of course. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just you guys coming on board again. Thank you very much. You all do a great job. I can't wait to watch it back. It's always great to watch back, and I'm sure everybody that was watching live enjoyed it as well. Obviously, the sponsors, we got a new sponsor on board this time, Ben from Abruzzi Simulator Racewear. He's providing prizes for class winners and team champions this year. We've got team championship, obviously, as you guys know. Keep a close eye on that as well for each class. Jochen at Dynamics does a fantastic job, and obviously we can't forget Ben, main man Ben at Thanesit. He obviously is providing a fair amount of money for the stream as well, so thanks to Ben. But yeah, everybody for sticking with me again. Those that have come up from season 3, all the new drivers, welcome, and let's have a good season.
Well, thanks, Ian, and we look forward to seeing the series next week.
Excellent, thanks guys. Good night.
Well, Mark, I think that rounds off what's been a fantastic round one of the championship. Certainly that last quarter of an hour or so was incredibly action packed. We had, the podium in the gold category changing positions. We had the lead of the silver class changing positions several times. Was absolutely awesome to watch.
It was absolutely fantastic. What a way to start the season. And I'm expecting more of the same in Laguna Seca next week because these are two very similar racetracks. And how different then it is going to be 2 weeks from now when we go to Spa-Francorchamps. So a completely different kind of racetrack. So these drivers, they will have a similar track next week, but a completely different one in a couple of weeks' time. And also, if you like Donington Park, well, you've watched the MX5s on Monday, the MX5s on Tuesday, and I think tomorrow the BSRTC is also here in Donington. So I think you are in luck if you like this racetrack, which has provided for some fantastic racing all week long. And also, don't miss on Monday we will be back. Yes, with with the MX5s and all the nice series we broadcast. So the World GT is in a bit of an hiatus. It will come back soon enough. Next week we will also have the Euro V8 endurance race from Charlotte. So a lot of stuff to keep an eye on, Sam. I think exciting times ahead.
Yes, absolutely. We're certainly looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll have the iRacing Le Mans series back at some point as well. And yeah, certainly looking forward to that and all the other series, of course, we cover on Apex Racing TV. And of course, the best way to keep up to date with all our broadcasts is to subscribe to the channel, also like our Facebook page, and also follow our Twitch channel as well. And of course, we're certainly looking forward to the next round of the Simracersworld GT Series. That will be back with you at the same time next week on Wednesday. But for now, from me and from Marco as well, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.